The academic language of science. Maria might say, "Fast food does bad stuff to you." Imagine if we teach Maria the academic language of science. Research indicates that a diet of fast food can have negative impacts on a person's physical and mental health, including weight gain, skin problems, and mood swings. Here's an example from electricity. When you put this thing here, it lights up. Compared to, when you connect the wire to the terminal of the battery, you create a closed circuit so the bulb will light up. Here is a more formal definition of academic language. There are 3 levels: the word phrase level, the sentence level, and the discourse level. At the word phrase level, we are talking about vocabulary. This includes multiple meanings of words, idioms, and nuances of meaning. The sentence level includes the grammar of our language. This addresses conventions, mechanics, and fluency. The discourse level addresses linguistic complexity. That means the amount of speech or written text and the organization and cohesion of ideas. Throughout the modules, we will work on all 3 levels of academic language. In this module, we start with the word phrase level and with the concept of the 3 tiers of vocabulary. Let's start out with the word brainstorm. Think of as many electricity words as you can in 15 seconds. Compare your list to this list of electricity words. How would you go about prioritizing and organizing these words for instruction? Vocabulary tiers can help you prioritize words for instruction. There are 3 tiers. The first tier is the most basic one, for example, baby or clock. In electricity, open and close would be examples of Tier 1 words. Tier 2 are high-frequency words that mature language users use. Also, they are able to be used across domains. This means they could be used in science class as well as math and language arts. Coincidence and absurd are examples. In electricity, current would be a Tier 2 word. Tier 3 words are low frequency, and they are limited to specific domains. You can see examples over in the 3rd column. In electricity, the word atom might be a Tier 3 word. Oftentimes, science curriculum will emphasize Tier 3 words, but Tier 2 words are key for bilingual learners. For bilinguals, Tier 2 means multiple meaning words, and there are many of them in the world of science. Current in electricity is an example of a multiple meaning word. Watch out for homophones too, such as some and some, or cell and cell. Tier 2 words also include idioms and phrasal clusters for bilingual learners. You may or may not use idioms in a lot of science, but you will use phrasal clusters. That means just using a few words to stand for one concept, such as stored energy or relatively easier. Let's look at another example of a cluster. Think of a person running, and you think of that as a Tier 1 word. But look what happens when we combine run with a number of different prepositions. The meaning of the word completely changes, and it actually acts more like a Tier 2 word. Tier 2 words also include these tricky transition and connector words. They're challenging because they're abstract. You cannot show someone a however or a because. Pay special attention to these words. They are everywhere in science talk. You will have opportunities to practice with the 3 tiers in Make It Work. Another point you may want to consider when choosing vocabulary words for a unit. Cognates are words that sound the same in two languages. About 40% of the words from our initial brainstorm list are Spanish-English. This native language connection may help some students remember the vocabulary. Even if languages do not have cognates with English, it can be useful for students to translate words into their native languages. What is your vocabulary routine? Hopefully you have a system that works to help your students use the new words frequently. Consider the vocabulary routine that Marzano suggests. Provide a description, explanation, or example. Ask students to restate. Ask students to construct. Engage students periodically in activities that help them add to their knowledge of the terms. Periodically ask students to discuss the terms. Involve students periodically in games. All of these steps are crucial for bilingual learners, especially the ones where students are interacting with others and using their new words in creative ways. With vocabulary activities, there are many opportunities to use the native language. Consider these questions as you continue through this unit. In what ways could I include students' native languages and cultures with vocabulary activities? What benefit would students derive from knowing these words in their native language? Tier 2 words are key for bilingual learners. A vocabulary routine is essential. Bilingual learners need multiple interactive opportunities to use the words and to connect the words to their native language. Choose one reading from the next section in Explore and then move on to Make It Work.